Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's dive deep into last game intense matchup between the Las Vegas Aces and the Indiana Fever. This game had everyone talking, not just because of CaitIin Clark's impressive performance, but mainly due to some baffling coaching decisions that left fans absolutely furious. CaitIin Clark had another historic night, breaking the record for the most assists in a single season. And remember, this is just her rookie year. The hype surrounding Clark is completely justified. Even though she had a rough first half with 0 points, she managed to turn things around in the third quarter, scoring 14 points and keeping the Fever in the game. But as much as we can celebrate Clark's incredible talent and future potential, the real conversation online today is all about Indiana's head coach, Christy Sides, and her decision-making, or lack thereof. Let's set the stage. The Fever were facing one of the toughest teams in the WNBA, the Las Vegas Aces. Early on, it looked like the Fever were in for a rough night. CaitIin Clark, the young star who's been breaking records all season, was practically invisible in the first half. No points, struggling to find her rhythm, but she did manage to get 7 assists by halftime. Even with that slow start, no one doubted that she'd come alive sooner or later, and that she did, exploding in the third quarter and single-handedly bringing the Fever back into the game. It was the kind of heroic performance that makes headlines and turns players into legends. But here's where things took a turn. With the game on the line and just seconds left on the clock, the Fever had one final possession, down by 3. Here's the situation. You've got 2 of the league's best scorers and elite three-point shooters on the court in CaitIin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Everyone watching is expecting one of them to get the ball for the potential game-tying shot. It's what any experienced coach would do. Put the ball in the hands of your best players, right? Instead, Christy Sides called a play that shocked everyone. She drew up a shot for Aaliyah Boston, the team's center, a 29% three-point shooter. That's right. This decision has sparked a massive outcry from fans and analysts alike. Social media is ablaze with people criticizing Sides, calling it coaching malpractice. It's not just the fans who are upset. Analysts from across the sports world are baffled by the decision. How do you have 2 of the league's top shooters on the court and still choose to give the final shot to your big, who rarely shoots threes? It just doesn't make sense. People are questioning whether Sides is ready for the big stage, especially given that she's relatively new to head coaching at this level. The decision-making in that critical moment has led many to wonder if Sides is out of her depth. The general sentiment is that with better coaching, this team would have several more wins under its belt this season. And to make matters worse, this isn't the first time Sides' coaching decisions have been called into question. Throughout the season, there have been numerous instances where her strategies, or lack thereof, have left fans scratching their heads. Missed timeouts, odd rotations, and questionable play calls have become a pattern, and this latest blunder seems to be the tipping point for many. Unfortunately, all of this drama has overshadowed what should have been a celebration of CaitIin Clark's remarkable achievement. Breaking the record for the most assists in a single season is no small feat, especially for a rookie. Clark has been nothing short of phenomenal this season, living up to, and in many cases exceeding, the high expectations placed on her. She's been compared to the greatest to ever play the game, and it's not hard to see why. Her court vision, basketball IQ, and leadership on the floor are beyond her years. Yet, instead of the headlines focusing on her record-breaking night, the conversation has been dominated by Christy Sides' misstep. It's a shame because Clark's performance deserved to be the story. But as with many games, it's often the coach's decisions in crunch time that make or break the narrative. Now, the big question, where does Indiana go from here? The Fever are not mathematically out of the playoff race, but this loss makes their path significantly harder. There's also the looming question of what to do about Sides. Many fans are calling for her to be fired, pointing out that a more experienced coach could have led this talented roster to a much better season. Even though Sides was recently named Coach of the Month, which is an accomplishment in itself, this latest debacle has people seriously doubting whether she's the right fit for the team. What makes this situation even more frustrating for fans is that the Fever have the talent. With players like CaitIin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston, there's no reason this team shouldn't be competing at a higher level. The tools are there, but the leadership might not be. There's already chatter online about potential coaching replacements. One name that keeps popping up is Mark Jackson, the former Golden State Warriors coach. Jackson has been praised for his basketball mind and his ability to develop young talent. He also has a connection to the Indiana Pacers organization, which adds another layer of intrigue to the conversation. Many believe that Jackson could be the key to unlocking the Fever's full potential, especially with a player like CaitIin Clark, who has the ability to change the course of a franchise. Of course, that's all speculation for now. The Fever still have games to play, and while the odds are stacked against them, anything can happen in sports. But one thing is clear: if they're going to have any chance at success, changes need to be made. It's also worth noting that beyond the final play, the Fever missed other key opportunities throughout the game. They shot just 11 for 20 from the free throw line, and that's a stat that's been haunting them for a while now. In a game as tight as this one, those missed free throws can be the difference between winning and losing. It's not all on Christy Sides, but as the coach, she bears a large part of the responsibility for preparing her team to execute in those critical moments. Looking forward, the Fever need to regroup and figure out how to close out games better. They've shown they can compete with the best teams in the league, but competing isn't enough. If they want to make a serious playoff push or build momentum for next season, they'll need to tighten things up, starting with better coaching decisions. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Christy Sides made the right call by trusting Aaliyah Boston to take that last shot? Or was this a massive coaching blunder that could cost the Fever their season? Should the Fever consider bringing in a more experienced coach, or is it too soon to make that kind of change? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We've got a lot more sports content coming your way, including analysis of the latest WNBA games and much more. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.